So as of today, I've made almost $1 million trading Forex. Now, it wasn't always like this. I come from a poor family, a poor background, and 6 years ago when I first started trading, I would dream of making these types of profits. I used to be a busboy, so when I first started trading, I was literally a busboy and making barely any money, coming from a poor family. Now, let me tell you guys how I was able to do this. So let me take you guys all the way back to the beginning. Now, I always had an entrepreneur mindset because my family, from my dad's side, I have an uncle that he is an entrepreneur. He came from Cuba and he started a bicycle shop business here in Miami, and I grew up in that bike shop. So pretty much my whole life, when I was like 7 to like 14 years old, I worked at that bike shop pretty much for free. But I was around that entrepreneur mindset. So I always had that entrepreneur mindset. And crazy enough, for some reason, I don't know why, maybe some of you could relate to this, I always knew I was gonna be rich. Like I always knew I was gonna have nice cars. I always had a vision of having Lamborghinis. Like I would pass by famous exotic car dealers and I would tell myself, I know I'm gonna have one. No, with no doubt in my heart, I knew I was gonna have one of those cars. Now, how did I get into the whole trading thing? It's funny because when I was around 13, 14, I stumbled across this trader, which his name is Timothy Stikes. Huge shout out to Timothy Stikes. He is a penny stock trader that he trades penny stocks, but he trades from pretty much anywhere around the world. Now, why did I want to become a trader? Why did this interest me? Because he had the freedom that I wanted. He would pretty much trade from anywhere, from a hotel, from a pool, from the beach. And I saw that and that caught my mind right away. I was always like, crap, I definitely want to be a trader. Now, you know, with life, you see something that catches your eye, you like it, but you don't, like, just life hits you, you get caught up with everything else and you forget about that. So in the back of my mind, I always wanted to be a trader. I had in the back of my mind that I saw Timothy Stikes. I wanted to get into that, but I left it alone. So pretty much I went to high school like everyone else, and I was a really bad student. Why was I a bad student? Because I honestly didn't give a crap about school. As crazy as this sounds, I had straight Fs all through freshman year. Sophomore year, I didn't even go to junior or senior year, because if I would have gone to junior year, like I was so far behind that it was impossible for me to make everything up. So I ended up getting my high school diploma from home through a program which I ended up finishing like a year before everyone else. So I got my high school diploma around 17, and this is where the problem hit me. The problem that a lot of teenagers face is that once you finish high school, your family forces you to like go to college pretty much. They ask you like, what's next? So after I finished getting my high school diploma, I was getting forced by my family, like, yo, like you got to do something. You can't be a bum. You have to go to school. So pretty much I was like forced to look into something that I wanted to do. I looked into like becoming a chef. I looked into becoming a radiologist. Like all these things that I could not picture myself doing, I was looking into doing this just because I was forced by my parents. Now, as I was looking through things, trying to figure something out that I didn't hate, I ended up getting a job that was a crappy job, but this was literally a turning point in my life. So I got a job. I was going through Craigslist and I got a job in a warehouse, which it was a flower warehouse that I promise you guys, it's literally like 20 degrees in there, and you're in there just like packaging flowers, and it's super cold, and I only lasted 1 day. So the first day that I was in there, my feet got wet, the water splashed and I got in my sock. So imagine being like in 20-degree weather with wet feet. I was in there and I was just like, I was analyzing the room and I saw it was just like a bunch of, like nothing against this, but there was just like a bunch of immigrants, and I saw a bunch of older immigrants, and I'm a young person that was born here in the United States. I was like, crap, I'm not taking advantage of the opportunity that I have with my life. This is definitely not what I want to do. And I remember this exactly. I ended up walking to the manager and I told him, hey, like this is not for me. I gotta get out of here. And I remember him exactly telling me like, thank God you realized it, because like this is definitely not for you. So I'm glad you realized this. And then after that, 1 week later, I ended up finding aviation mechanics, which is actually something pretty dope because I always liked cars. I'm always a gearhead for cars. So I was like, crap, I don't want to become a car mechanic because they don't make that much money. So what would be the next best thing? Aviation mechanic, because they make decent six-figure salary, and you're working on planes, which is pretty dope. And you get to work for the airlines, which you see a bunch of like hot, I don't know, you see a bunch of hot ladies working for the airlines. So that's another bonus as well. Now, the reason why like I said, I was looking into all this was because of my family. I was being forced into this. So crazy enough, guys, this is how you know everything was meant to work out. So the first day of aviation school, I meet some person named David. Huge shout out to David. I sit in class and David's about like 3 seats next to me, and I notice he's on his phone with candlesticks and he's trading. And I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Because I always had in the back of my mind since Timothy Stikes that I wanted to be a trader. And then I see David trading. I'm like, holy crap, like, what are you doing? And then David introduced me to Forex. He started explaining to me what Forex is, how he trades Forex, the courses he's taken, and it was brand new to me. Like, it was Chinese, but I knew that this is what I wanted to do. It's crazy enough. Now, as soon as we started talking, I told him, dude, like, whatever amount of money you paid for the course that you paid for, that you learned from, I will give you half of the money you paid and just give me access to the course. So obviously he was down with it. I gave him half the money. He gave me access to the course. I started studying the course. And obviously the information that I learned from that course is now what I trade now 6 years later. But thanks to that course, I was able to learn the basics pretty much. Now, I was learning the basics. I was obviously going to school at the same time. Now, I was going to school, obviously, and trying to become profitable. But when you're focusing on school, work, and trying to become a day trader, like, you're not giving your all to one thing. So in trading, it's one thing where you have to be all in to be consistently profitable. It's like a business. You can't run a business and be 25% in. Like, it's just not going to work. So it wasn't working for me, obviously, because I was trying to learn and trade at the same time while I was going to school and working in the aviation field. Now, as time went on, I ended up getting a job as a busboy at a restaurant named Blue Collar while I was going to school, and I was learning to trade at the same time. Then as time went on, I moved up to a server, and then as a server, a little bit more time went on, I was still learning how to trade. I was not profitable at all. I was just straight losing money. After that, I was about $20,000 negative at this point. So imagine being $20,000 negative, trying to learn how to trade, still going to school and working a job at the same time. And then when things actually took a turn for me was when COVID hit. Now, actually, let me rewind a little bit right back. So right before COVID, I was learning somewhat how to be profitable, but I wasn't consistently profitable. Like, I was learning some things that I would make money, but I would have days where I would just lose all the profits. So right around this time, I was going along with school, and I told myself, why don't I get a job in the aviation field so I can make more money? And I don't want to keep working in the restaurant field. Like, it's just a job where it's just like, the hours are great, but it's a lot of work once you're working in there. So I ended up getting a job in the aviation field. And crazy enough, guys, this is how you know everything was definitely meant to work out. In the aviation company that I worked at, it was 192 employees, and COVID hit, right? So I was working at this aviation place for about 6 months. I was trading as well. So I was going to school at night, working in the day, and trading New York session at work, as crazy as it sounds. I would trade New York session on my 15-minute break. I would try to force a setup, and it would obviously not work out because I'm trying to trade on a 15-minute break, forcing a setup. So crazy enough, guys, this is how you know God is definitely real. Out of 196 employees, COVID started coming around, and everyone was freaked out at this time. Everyone was like, dude, COVID, like, everyone was super freaked out. And it was known that if anyone got COVID, you would have to be out of work for at least, like, I would say at least 2 to 3 weeks and then get tested. And no one had gotten COVID yet. And I remember just telling a few employees, like, because everyone knew that I was trading and I was trying to become a profitable trader. And I remember telling a few employees, like, dude, I wish I get COVID so I could get sent home and just focus on trading. And funny enough, I guess God definitely heard me. Out of 196 employees, I was the first one to get COVID, and they sent me home for a few weeks, and I was like, dude, this is a blessing. I could focus on my trading. Now, obviously, what do you think I did? Do you think I focused on my trading? Definitely not. I wasted time watching Netflix, eating, sleeping in, and I didn't take advantage of the time. So I was somewhat profitable, but I didn't take full advantage of the time. And this is when reality really hit me, guys. So pretty much, I received a letter saying that I was getting let off and everyone in the company was getting let off, but they were still going to continue to pay me for a few months. So they let me off in July, and they were still going to pay me all the way up until like August, September. So I took trading even less serious in this time. Why? Because I was at home and I was still receiving my regular check without working at all. I was like, dude, this is great. I was barely taking trading serious at all because I was making money, the same money I was making working, but from home. And then this is when things got real serious. When August, September came around, and I stopped getting paid. Because I stopped getting paid, and I told myself, dude, I am not going back to work. I am going to make this trading stuff like actually work. I'm forcing myself to make it work. And thank God I used to live with my parents at the time, so my bills weren't that much. It was just my car, and I had some money to pay my car, so I could make it work. I was like, dude, I'm gonna make this work 100%. Like, I'm not giving myself another option. So as the time went on, I was blowing accounts, trying to make it work. And I got so broke that I had to start selling my own personal items to just keep funding my account. I started selling my shoes, my Jordans. I started selling my gun. I had a gun I had to sell. I had to sell pretty much all my stuff. I sold my Xbox 360, and pretty much the last thing that I sold that was able to get me by to the next step and like not get a job was selling my gold bracelet. I had a gold bracelet that I sold for almost $4,000, and with that I was able to get a few funded accounts, and I was actually able to make a withdrawal that like ever since then, my life changed and I was able to actually like breathe a little bit. So I was able to get a withdrawal, I kept trading, and then ever since then, I've been consistently profitable. So that happened in July, right? July, I stopped getting paid in August, and then I came consistently profitable around that December. But the December right before, so literally a year right before I became consistently profitable, I went to a 5-day class from someone that you guys don't know of. And then I got some information there that was honestly straight crap. I didn't learn anything over there, but I met people over there that I learned information from them that I was able to tie in a few other things together. And throughout that year of like COVID and being let off, I was able to put my strategies together. That's what I've been trading for the last 3 years. So it took me pretty much 3 years to be consistently profitable and 2.5 years to be somewhat profitable. So check it out. After COVID, I was profitable trading full time. Everything is great. Now, check this out. Look how crazy life is. So that was December. I started becoming profitable. Then January, February, March, everything is great, right? Like 2022, January, February, March, I'm having the best time of my life. I'm making $10,000 to $14,000 a month. Imagine after 3-4 years of you like trying to make your dream life work, your dream life actually becomes a reality, and then for it to just get taken away or like you get smacked in the face like with something that you weren't expecting. So pretty much I was making anywhere from like $10,000 to $14,000 a month, which was my goal. I was literally financially free, but I got hit with the news that I had cancer, which was crazy. So imagine you finally making your goal a reality, like your dream a reality, and then getting hit with the news of cancer. It's like, dude, like it's like a weird balance, right? So you can't even imagine that. So pretty much the way that I got hit with cancer and how I came about with cancer is that I had a pain in my leg that it was like the worst pain, guys. Like it just started building up little by little. It got to the point where I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk. Like it got so bad that I remember one time I was walking my dog and I couldn't make it back home. I had to call my aunt to pick me up to take me back home because I literally couldn't walk. So I thought it was a pinched nerve, crazy enough. So I went to an event that Alex did, a trading event, and I saw someone, Arturo there, shout out to Arturo. He works with a neurosurgeon, and he saw me and he's like, dude, you might have a pinched nerve, like come to the clinic and we'll give you a shot so we could get it taken care of. And then huge shout out to him. So I went to the clinic the next day and his doctor did an x-ray, and then as soon as his doctor did an x-ray, from their reaction, I knew something was wrong because he didn't want to give me the shot. And then he's like, dude, you have a mass. You need to get this checked out. So right when they tell you they have a mass, you're like, dude, it's a good chance that it's cancer. But it's a good chance that it's a tumor. You don't know if it's binary or non-binary. So you don't know if it's cancer or not cancer, but it's a tumor. So pretty much I was like, crap. So thanks to Arturo, he plugged me in with a doctor that I was able to get the biopsy done. I got everything done. I found out it was cancer. The worst way possible. So imagine this, I went into the hospital to get some pain pills because I couldn't stand the pain anymore. And I was waiting in the emergency room. A nurse comes in and he's like, all right, let me take you upstairs so we can get you ready for your chemotherapy. And I was like, dude, what the hell? That's not me. Like, I don't have chemotherapy. I don't have cancer. And then the guy's like, oh crap, I'm sorry, wrong person. And then he comes in 10 minutes later in the room and he's like, hey, I'm sorry, man, it's not the wrong person. Like, it's you. I thought they broke the news down to you. And I was like, oh crap, like, it was just the worst way to find out possible. So imagine, I found out that I had cancer there. I had to spend 2 weeks in the hospital, doing chemotherapy, a bunch of crap. I think it was a week and a half. I got let out. I was actually trading the whole time from the hospital. But when I was doing chemo, like the chemo really messes up with your psychology. And for some reason, I wasn't able to trade good. Like I just got into a losing streak, which was really bad when I was going through the whole process. I was pretty much in a losing streak, losing trade after trade. And I got into a losing streak for about a few months. And then crazy enough, after I was able to finish everything, in August, I had surgery. I got the tumor removed. I finished doing chemotherapy. And then since August, I've been on a consistent winning streak month after month. So pretty much almost 2 years it's going to be now that I've been on a consistent month after month winning streak. Now, after that, after August, my trading completely skyrocketed because I was back to normal. I was more motivated than ever. And then since August, I've just been scaling up and just taking my trading to the next level. So that was in August of that year. And then pretty much next year, 2023, you guys saw, well, pretty much 2023, I ended up taking my trading even more to the next level. I ended up coming out with this YouTube channel. I ended up teaching for free. I tried to put out as much content as possible. And as crazy enough, guys, so check this out. In 2022, when I got hit with the news of the cancer, I was actually trying to get my first supercar, which was a C8. And I got hit with the news that I had cancer in the process when I was making $10,000 to $14,000 a month. And I just put it on hold. I was like, let me go back to normal and I'll just get the car later on. That was in March of when I found out I had cancer. And then next year, in pretty much in June, I was able to finally get the C8 that I waited a year for after going through the whole process, which it honestly felt so much better driving the car a year after wanting it and going through the process. It made me enjoy the car so much more and appreciate it so much more after going through the hard process. Now, crazy enough, guys, check this out. So September, August rolls around of the next year. I'm looking to get my first supercar, and I'm literally I'm about to put the money down for the supercar, and I have a scan, my next MRI scan, and they tell me I have cancer again. So imagine like you're gonna get a C8, and then they tell you have cancer. You have to wait a whole year to get the C8, and then you get it a year after going through it, and then a year later you're going to get your supercar, and then they tell you have cancer again. So it's like, let me just hold off. So I ended up doing surgery, recovering, and then thank God after that, after like 2-3 months of me originally trying to get the supercar, I ended up getting my actual first supercar, which is an R8. I thank God, I'm super grateful for it. But it's crazy how like whenever you plan for something, like your life could just hit you with something, a curveball, and things don't go in no way as planned. So pretty much notice how every car that I've gotten, it's not been scheduled and it's not been on my own time. It's literally been on God's time. So pretty much since I got hit with the news again that I've had cancer, I've pretty much just been trading again as well. It hasn't affected me at all, I would say, in my trading this time, because I'm much more mentally prepared. I'm not going through the same chemo that I'm going through so the last time, so I'm not losing my hair. I'm not like, it's not affecting me as much it's not affecting me as much you guys know what I mean, psychologically as the last time, because it's not as strong chemo as the last one. So yeah, pretty much it's not on my time, it's been on God's time. So that's what we're dealing with now. I'm just going through the whole process. I'm doing chemo now. I have a holistic doctor that's helping me as well, but I'm not letting me affect it. So that's pretty much what I have going on with my whole cancer situation. Now, let me take you guys back to what actually was able to get me the R8, which is me being profitable. Now, I wasn't always profitable. I told you it took me 2.5 years to find my profitability, and it took me 3 years to be consistently profitable. Now, one thing I could say that definitely held me back from being profitable, guys, and I know for a fact it's holding some of you back from being profitable, is your psychology. But let's break down what psychology means, right? Because a lot of people like to say, oh, my psychology affects me when I'm trading. But that's just like an easy band-aid that people put on to not analyze themselves and be like, what the hell's actually going on with my trading? What's holding me back? So I actually was able to break down deep enough and break down what people mean when they say their psychology is bad, because it's what was affecting me. And I know if you guys listen to me and pay attention to what I'm about to say, it will change your trading. So check this out. When people say their psychology is bad, it means that their discipline is bad. So what do I mean by this, right? When people say that their psychology is bad, what does it mean when they are trading? It means that they are over leveraging, they are revenge trading, they have no risk to reward, they are not following their plan, they're trading pairs that they shouldn't be trading hours that they shouldn't be trading. So it all goes down to not having discipline. So think about it. Bad psychology means no discipline. And I know this because this is what used to happen to me. So I used to jump in the market with no entry confirmation, thinking that the market was going to leave me and not following my trading plan. So that me acting on my impulses of the impulse of my body telling me to enter the market because the market's going to leave me is what was holding me back. So if you guys could control your impulses, you fix your discipline, you fix your psychology. So just check it out. Discipline, psychology, impulses. You fix your impulses, you fix your discipline, you fix your psychology, you're profitable. And I promise you it all goes back down to that, because you could have the best trading strategy, and if your psychology is not on point, which is your discipline, you're not following your trading plan, you're taking trades outside of your trading plan, you're not having a proper risk to reward, you're revenge trading, then it doesn't matter how accurate your trading strategy is. You can have someone with a much less accurate trading strategy, but they are consistently following their trading plan, they are disciplined, and they will be much more profitable than the person with the best strategy and that's not disciplined. So that's one key thing that I recommend to you guys is, if you're struggling with your psychology, work on your discipline outside the charts. So what helped me work on my discipline in the charts was working on my discipline outside the charts. For example, discipline is one thing that you have to practice all around in your life. It's not something that you could just practice in one area and not in another area, because discipline has to do with controlling your body and doing things that when you don't want to do it, right? So for example, if your body's telling you to enter in the market and you tell yourself, no, I'm not going to do it, that same discipline that it takes to do that is the same discipline that it takes for you to force yourself to go to the gym and work out when you don't want to work out. When your body doesn't want to work out, you still do it because you know that that's what you have to do. So if you practice discipline outside the charts, I can guarantee that it's going to reflect in the charts, and it will definitely benefit all of you. Once I was able to work on my discipline, that's when my trading really took off, because I had the strategy. And I still wasn't consistently profitable. So after 2 years, what took me to 3 years to be profitable was not being disciplined. Once I fixed that, I was consistently profitable. And it's been pretty awesome since. So pretty much I've been able to not only make profits, not almost $1 million trading in profits, but I've been able to teach people to make profits as well and duplicate my results in other people. So I've had students make, one of my best students has been able to make over almost $40,000 in 1 month. With the funding company, which I did a podcast with him, which was all documented, like no fake accounts. It was literally, everything's legit. I had another one of my students, #1 trader in FTMO for the month of September. He made 34% in 1 month, which is insane. I just did a 30-day bootcamp right now. I had a student that made $5,000 right before the bootcamp ended on a funded account. So it's not just me making the profits, but my strategy definitely works for everyone else. And it's just dope being able to, even though I'm going through everything that I'm going through, be able to share the value and people be able to change their trading trajectory. Even though I'm going through a crappy situation, it motivates me to keep putting in the work and help people. So pretty much 6 years as of today after I started trading is when I'm able to reach the goals that I had when I first started trading. Now, let me tell you guys some of the goals that I have in mind, right? So I was able to achieve my first supercar, my first house 6 years after I started trading. Now, obviously, these are very nice things, and I'm super grateful and I'm super appreciative for them, but you cannot be content, because when you're content in life is when you start to go backwards. So definitely some of my short-term goals, I guess, would be to get a McLaren, either a 600 OT or a 720S. Those are some of my favorite cars. Ever since I started trading, it's always been on the list. I've always had a McLaren as my screensaver. The reason why I didn't get one as my first supercar is, well, I actually was, and then the whole cancer situation happened, and then I was able to find a nice R8. But I didn't want to just jump the gun to a 720. I want to scale my way up to it and enjoy the process of each level. So definitely short-term goal, maybe a 720, a 600 OT. Definitely another goal of mine is to have a nice apartment in Brickell. It's always been a goal of mine. So definitely to have a nice penthouse in Brickell is a huge goal. Those are some of my short-term goals. Also, some of my longer-term goals would be, I guess, to definitely retire my mom and my dad. Definitely want to help them out, especially my dad. My dad, nothing against my mom, but my dad has always supported me and always been there for me. And pretty much I used to live with my dad. So my dad saw me start trading. He saw me, he was never negative about it. He never gave me any negative energy. So I definitely want to help him back. And another person that I definitely want to give back to, a huge shout out to my uncle. I told you guys that because of him, I have the entrepreneur mindset. And if it wasn't because of him, I would not have that mindset. So I want to give a very special gift to my uncle. My uncle comes from Cuba, and he came around 1970, 1980. And when he came, Fidel Castro took away his prized possession, which was a 1955 Chevrolet Bel Air. And I know the exact spec that he has, that he had in Cuba, because he tells me about this car pretty much every single time that I see him. And he tells me how pretty much Fidel took away his baby. So my goal and my dream is to give him the same exact car spec that he had in Cuba that Fidel took away, give it to him here and be like, here, this is the car that Fidel took away from you. And honestly, that would be, once I retire my mom and my dad, obviously that's gonna feel nice. But once I do this for my uncle, that's gonna be one of the goals that's definitely gonna tell me, crap, I've made it, because that's something that I've had in mind since I was a little kid. So obviously you want to retire your parents, but that comes on with a more mature mindset. But me giving that car to my uncle, I've always had it in my mind. So since it's something that I've always had in my mind, it's going to be a goal that once I achieve, it's going to feel like I actually reached the level that I've always been wanting to reach. Now, also another long-term goals would be, I definitely, maybe not a long-term goal, but this is more like a short-term goal, but I definitely want to have a 6-figure day when it comes to trading. I want to make at least 6 figures. I'm not going to rush into it though, because it's not something that you could just force. When it happens, it happens. I also definitely want to have the best trading academy. So I want to be known for being the best trading academy. People know that that I have the best sauce out there. Now, it's not just me saying it. I told you guys my previous students having some insane results. So that's definitely some of my goals, short-term and long-term. Also, maybe who knows? I also I like to finish everything I start. So maybe one day in the future, I will finish school. I'm missing just a few more classes to finish. So maybe it would be one of those things that I finish just to no one can say, oh, you never finished school. I finished school and I didn't use it because I wanted to do something else. So maybe those would be something else that I will do. So pretty much you guys are seeing the house, the car, the materialistic things you guys saw. Now the back end, how long it took, the truth behind everything that it took to get there. And pretty much you're seeing the whole back end of my life, like what it's like going through the tough situations, making my dreams come true. It's a weird balance. It really is, because honestly, there's nothing complete in life. Like everyone it's about balance. So there has to be good and there has to be bad. And it's just the way that life is. Now, my main piece of advice to you is, if you're going through anything, if you're watching this right now and you're going through a hard time, don't let that hard time define you. I promise you, you could be going through a really hard time and you're probably asking God, like, why me? Why am I going through this? And I promise you, if you just push and you get through it, you will thank God for going through that tough situation after the situation is done, because that tough situation made you appreciate being in a better situation so much more, and it makes you think and learn things that you wouldn't learn if you weren't in that tough situation. Now, my biggest advice to you, if you're going through something that's very tough, because what I'm going through and what I went through wasn't easy at all, and the main thing that helped me get through it is, I heard someone say, take it day by day. And that's the biggest thing, because if you're going through a tough situation, you can't think about the next 20 days. Like, you just have to worry about getting through today and laying down in your bed. If you could just get through today, you take it day by day, I promise you everything will get better. So you just take it day by day until everything gets better, and I promise you, you will get through it. Don't let your situation, don't let anyone around you determine what you do in your life. So don't let your situation, don't let any haters, don't let your friends, don't let your family tell you what you can and what you can't do. Anything that you set your mind to, you can do. And if you tell yourself you can't do it, then you can't do it. If you tell yourself you can't do it, you can definitely do it. All right, so you guys are seeing my whole life, pretty much how I got into trading, what got me into trading, what it was like becoming profitable, how negative I was before I became profitable, what it was like when I started becoming profitable, and then getting hit with cancer, and then dealing with everything that I'm going through now. Just use this as motivation, guys. Don't let any of your situations that you're going through determine how you feel or how you act. Make sure that you take action on your goals. No one is going to do it for you. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want to be part of the Signal group, where we are on a 23-week winning streak after I beat the cancer. The link is in the description. Also, if you want some fire daily breakdowns, make sure you follow me on Instagram and in the free Telegram. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.